Hi all, it's Nevi from Caboolture again. Got a few fishing tips for you today, a few things that work for me, and thought I'd share them with you. The last couple of videos have been a great hit. Thanks for the response and all the messages. Great to see you guys catching heaps of fish on some of my tips. First one I'm going to talk about today is lures. Now, last time I showed you about how to use bait on lures, and apparently a few of you guys have been using it and catching stacks. Going to show you a couple of other things. First thing is going to do with knots. Now, I've got a few lures. That one from Lee and Gladstone. This one here is a abo lure, and not sure what this one is. It's a squishy kind of thing, and the bib moves so you can change the depth. But we're going to talk about knots. A lot of people use loop knots. Now, for me, loop knot is for like loopy people. Because I've got to tell you, first of all, you're using nylon or monofilament, which is inherently weak. I mean, honestly, it's just, you just bite it off. Fish just come along and, oh, look at that, oh, a bit of nylon, oh, there goes my fish. So, first of all, if you like nylon and you think it's going to be safe, and you're catching fish without teeth, like, well, I can't think of any fish without teeth. Mullet, if you're catching mullet on your lures and you like nylon, well, that's great. For a loop knot, what you have to do is poke your line through the hole, and minimum 30 pound. This is 50. Personally, I'd normally use 100, but my 100 is I loaned it to a friend the other day, and he's hasn't given it back. So you get a big loop like that, and then what you do is you make a little loop up here, like that, so a small loop, and then you get your hook and your lure, and it's pretty tricky, but you poke it all the way through. There we go, just like that. So there's your loop, and you put the lure all the way through, and then you pull it down like that. So there we go, that's a loop knot. Excellent. A friend of mine from Mossop showed me that. It works an absolute treat. If you're into monofilament, you just snip off the tag end here, like that, and you just throw it out. Bounces along, starts to attract a few of those fish in your area, and once those fish get into your area, you put out on your bait, then you start catching them. But there's a better way. There's always a better way. And a better way, especially if you've seen my last videos, is wire trace. So what you do is you get your little snappy thing here, and normally it's like that, see? And you open it up, and then you put it through that hole. That little ring there on the front, and then close it up. Bang. And no fish is going to bite that off. You can do whatever you want to that. Tailors or flatheads, brims, even flounders. When flounders come up and bite that, they're not going to get through that. So wire trace is way better and much faster. So yeah, if you got a bunch of lures, like I've got these ones here, I've got this abo one, same thing, with that little ring in the front. Put it through, snap it on, and then this jointed abo lure is going to come down and wiggle around and attract the brim in and stuff. Bang. So that's that one. And the last one is this squishy one. It hasn't got any writing on it. Oh, it says France on the bottom. What do French people know about fishing? Probably nothing. But yeah, this one's all squishy. I've used this a few times, but yeah, it's not much good. It's got a little ring in the front too, so you just get your little snappy thing, whack through, get your squishy lure. It's probably a squidgy actually, I don't know. But you throw it out, and the squidgy goes along like this, and the brims and the flatheads and the whiting and the mullet, whatever's out there, is going to come up and go, oh, give that a go. So that's really good. The other thing with lures is hooks. you probably see on these ones, the hooks are going rusty. Now that's a problem with all these newfangled lures and stuff. This one hasn't gone rusty yet because this one's only new. I've only had this one about 3 years. The hooks start to go rusty. So the best way to stop your hooks going rusty is when your missus is about to throw out the rest of the end of the flour, thing of plain flour, just with a bit in it, you keep that, okay? Take the lid off, and you grab your lures, and you chuck your lures in with the flour, and give them a good shake. And then you put that on the shelf, or open the hatch in your boat and throw that in. It'll be there in 2 or 3 or 10 years time. Whenever the fish are in feeding frenzy and you want to try a lure, you'll know that your hooks are nice and good, not rusty. So that's that one. The next one relates to fishing reels. Now this is what they call an egg beater. Personally I prefer LVs because LVs are just way more simpler and not as complicated. These are extremely complicated. Like if you've ever taken one of these apart and taken out these screws, the first thing that happens once you get this side off is just springs and washers and God knows what, just all these little wheels and that just fall straight out and you never know where they go back. So they're extremely complicated and they're prone to failure. So that's why I like LVs. But if you have to use an egg beater, I found a good way to keep this roller here rolling. Like normally this is the first thing to stop. This just gets clogged up with sand and dirt and all the rest. Because it just doesn't roll. So the way to make it roll is rather than just put your line through and up like that, you put it around twice. Make like a loop around it. And that ensures that roller will roll. And if it's rolling and moving, dirt and sand and grit can't get in there. See? So once it's around twice, whenever a fish moves or you cast, that roller is going to keep rolling. And if it's rolling, dirt and sand and grit hasn't got a chance to get in there. So that's a great thing to do with your egg beaters. Put that around there twice, or around that as a loop, and it'll always spin and you'll be right. So from Nevi in Caboolture, thanks for watching, and tight lines guys.